Hi, everybody. I want to put this team together to review our new Poam reporting feature. And what this stands for is allowing you to report issues and risk mitigation to the right stakeholders. It's very much aligned with NIST terminology, but it's something that you can also configure for your own program. And hopefully, this will help you when it comes to metrics and reporting. One of the things that we are letting everyone know as C1 Risk makes our future designs and releases is when it comes to reporting and metrics, we want to provide you data sets. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. And the first thing we want to talk about is if you go to issue management and findings, you will see that your inventory of findings are listed here. And on the top right, under where we put our action menu, you'll see two new reporting feature. One is finding summary by internal control family and finding summary by the asset in terms of enterprise assets. Okay. So which means that every single one of your finding, we would want for it to have some type of connections to internal controls, right? Here. So if you have internal control linked to it, like this one is reopened. So what you want to do is have your findings linked to internal controls and then select any one of the controls so that you know how your finding is impacting your controls. Okay. The other thing you also want to be aware of is if you want to get findings by asset, you will also need to tag the finding with the appropriate asset. So right now, this one has internal controls. And what we want to do is also add assets. Okay. So this one can be like a system Dropbox or something. Okay. So for the ones that you want rollout reporting for, it's really important that every finding, regardless if it's self-identified risk or pen testing or whatnot, you want to have asset and internal control linked to it so you can get this report. What this report is going to come out to be when you do an export here by control family is, I'm going to take a look at this part. It's going to give you a summary of a file. So this one is finding summary by control family. So I've exported this data set from another instance where we do actually have data. And notice that these control family are very NIST oriented. I just want you to know you can configure this, okay? So to change this particular control family list, what you would need to do is go into your C1 Risk platform, go to administration, go to custom fields. Under custom fields, we have a field called control family that is associated to the internal control table entity. And it is a drop-down list. And here are the value for the drop-down list that you can assign every one of your internal controls. And if you want to change this list, you can click on edit and you can unselect our default list and add new value for whatever list you want. Okay. So once you create your drop-down list for control family, then you can go to the internal control list and you can select any kind of internal control that doesn't have a tag. Okay. Right now, everything has a tag. But let's say you add an internal control. And when you add an internal control, we have a field now over here that says control family. So if you want this report, you would need to identify the control family for your internal controls. Okay, so this is how we get these control family and we summarize the status of the control, the findings by control family. We also summarize the priority, the risk mitigation, and any approval status that's outstanding. Okay, you can drill down to each control family here to see further log details of exactly which finding we are including in the analytics. Okay. We also have a master file that says the list of findings without any internal control. So this is your gap analysis list where you can click on it and define internal control to map to it so that you can have an updated summary that looks better. Okay. All right. Similarly, if you export finding summary by asset, you will get another report with the data set by asset. So each asset, you'll see exactly the detailed log of the findings that are associated to them. And more importantly, you get a summary. Now, if you have been configuring the C1 risk platform, you know that you can define asset type and the inventory of assets. Okay. So some organization have infrastructure, application lists, and maybe processes and business units and locations. Okay. So you can have one or multiple asset type, many to many relationship between your asset and your findings. Okay. And again, we also give you a gap analysis list of every single finding that is in the system that does not have asset map to it. So you can drill down and clean up your data. So you get nice, clean reporting. All right. Well, that's all for this feature. And if you have any question or feedback for enhancement, let us know. Our goal is to provide you the reporting that is meaningful for your program, and we're collecting information feedback all the time. Thanks.